Hello, I was coming back because I wanted to discuss fasting today. As I was reading Matthew 9, and it said the question about fasting. And I know many people don't know about fasting. Um, so I wanted to give you this information on fasting. Then the disciple, this is Matthew 9:14. And I'm going to go all the way down to 16. No, to 15. Then the disciples of John approached him and said, "Why do we and the Pharisees fast much, but your disciples do not fast?" Jesus answered them, Can the wedding guests mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? The days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast. He was saying once he ascends to heaven, once he goes on the cross and arrive and arise on the third day and ascend to heaven, they will start to fast. So let me go over here to Leviticus 23. That's going to be 26 and 28. The Lord said to Moses, "The 10th of this 7th month is the Day of Atonement, when you shall hold a sacred assembly and mortify yourselves, and offer an oblation to the Lord. On this day you shall not do any work, because it is the Day of Atonement. When atonement is made for you before the Lord your God, anyone who does not mortify himself on this day shall be cut off from his people." And that means to put in your body and put in your desires to death. Some people like to eat. They're gluttony, so they will have to stop eating. Some people stop eating because they want to have experience with God. They want to be closer to God. They want to be right there in the spirit with God. So he said, mortify your bodies, yourselves. Mortify your bodies. Do not eat anything that day to offer up oblation or sacrifice for him. So put away your desires that you want for that day, and let it be about the Most High. Basically, it's about him that day. So that is Leviticus 23, 26 and to 28. So let me go over here. So I am going to read to you. I read it. If you just looked at one of my videos, I just did a video on it. Let me go back over here. And it says over here on Matthew 6. This is going to be 16 down. Teaching about fasting. When you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites. They neglect their appearance, so that they may appear to others to be fasting. Amen. I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, so that you may not appear to be fasting, except for your Father who is hidden. And your Father who sees what is hidden will repay you. So when you are fasting, anoint your head and wash your face. Don't disfigure your face to make everybody know that you're fasting. That I'm hungry. I'm about to pass out. I need some food. Well, why don't you go eat some food? No, I'm fasting today. Why are you telling them that? They're not even supposed to know. That's supposed to be in secret. That's supposed to be secret. They say, hey, you just want everybody to know that you're hungry, and then they're gonna say, why don't you just go get some food and eat? Do you want me to bring you something back to eat? Do you want me to cook you something? No, I'm fasting. That's supposed to be secret. Okay, so we're gonna go over here to Daniel. And I'm going to Daniel 1, starting at 3. The king told Ashpenaz, his chief chamberlain, to bring in some of the Israelites of royal blood and of the nobility, young men without any defect, handsome, intelligent, and wise, quick to learn, and prudent in judgment, such as could take their place in the king's palace. They were to be taught the language and literature of the Chaldeans. And remember, the Chaldeans is where Abraham came from. The place of Chaldeans. He lived in a place of Chaldeans. What was the country or something like that? But anyway, he's from the land. That's what I was trying to say. He's from the land of the Chaldeans. And remember, the Chaldeans did a lot of they did a lot of stuff over there. Idolatry and stuff like that. Making little gods and that can't talk or see or eat, and selling them. Remember, his dad Terah was the person that made them, and he went out to sell them to the people, and the people would come and buy them from him. So they was doing a lot of sorcery stuff and idolatry stuff over there. So after 3 years, and remember when he said that he wanted the most high society people, like the people that has influence, like the people that has influence on black people, the high society people that has influence on black people, that can tell your people, go get your people calm down. These are the people tell your people, go get your people calm down. Talk to your people. Then we go, oh, okay, we'll follow what he say or she say. And these are your basketball players today, your football players, baseball players, soccer, whatever game they play. All you see is black Hebrew men playing. And remember, these are black people. Even the Babylonians, everybody black. Everybody black. But these are the people they wanted. Your scholars, your teachers, all the ones that was considered having status, or that could perform, or that was a great athlete. Still today, here in Babylon, hasn't changed. Father say there's nothing new up under the sun. Still the same thing. Okay, after 3 years training, they were to enter the king's service. The king allotted them a daily portion of food and wine from the royal table. Among these were men of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. The chief chamberlain changed their names, Daniel to Belshazzar, Hananiah to Shadrach, Mishael to Meshach, and Azariah to Abednego. When we came off the boat here, whose names were changed? We no longer had the Most High's names anymore. Before we got here, we had the names of the Most High God. And Daniel, El is Elohim. So we had the names of the Most High God when we got here. But once we arrived here, they took our names and they started to hide all of our culture, who we are and whose we are. And they changed our Bible to the slave Bible. They forbade our people to read, and they said they could not read, which that was a lie. Our people could read, but they read Hebrew. Not English. Hebrew. That's why if you go down to the church in Savannah, and you will see that on the pews, they wrote in Hebrew. Not English. That wasn't our language. Okay. So, but Daniel was resolved not to defile himself with the king's food or wine. So he begged the chief chamberlain to spare him this defilement, though God had given Daniel the favor and sympathy of the chief chamberlain. He nevertheless said to Daniel, I am afraid of my lord the king. It is he who allotted your food and drink. If he sees that you look wretched, why do people call themselves wretched? By comparison with the other women, with the other men, young men of your age, remember they watched our people. See who was the best at football, baseball, basketball. Who was the best with the status in the neighborhood, in the black neighborhood of status. They searched all that. That's what they did in Babylon. You will endanger my life with the king. Then Daniel said to the steward, whom the chief chamberlain had put in charge of Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, please test your servants for 10 days. Give us vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then see how we look in comparison with the other young men who eat from the royal table. And treat your servants according to what you see. He acceded to this request and tested them for 10 days. After 10 days, they looked healthier and better, fed than any of the young men who ate from the royal table. So the steward continued to take away the food and wine they were to receive and gave them vegetables. To these 4 young men, God gave knowledge and proficiency in all literature and science, and to Daniel the understanding of all visions and dreams. Remember, I said God can give you anything. You can take a job and not have any earthly idea about that job, but God can give you wisdom of that job only if you are with him. If you're not with him, then you go in, you know you're not in that job. But if you're with him, he can give you the wisdom of that job, the knowledge of it. At the end of the time, the king had specified for their preparation, the chief chamberlain brought them before Nebuchadnezzar. When the king had spoken with all of them, none was found equal to Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And so they entered the king's service. And any question of wisdom or prudence which the king put to them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and enchanters in his kingdom. Daniel remained there until the first year of King Cyrus. So, out of all his magicians that does the magic, the sorcery, enchanters, all these people, Daniel, Mishael, and Hananiah, and Azariah was the best out of all of them. So I'm going to go over here. Oh, and I'm going to go over here to, hold on, to Daniel 10. Vision of the, about the fast and the vision of the war. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a revelation was given to Daniel, who had been named Belteshazzar. The revelation was certain, a great war. He understood it from the vision. In those days, I, Daniel, mourned 3-4 weeks. I ate no savory food. I took no meat or wine, and I did not anoint myself at all until the end of the 3 weeks. So let me tell you what he ate. So from what I got, it was rich meat-based stews. The pinnacle of savory food involved slow-cooked mutton, lamb, beef, or wild game fowl. These were often rendered in animal fats or sesame oil to create thick, hearty broths. Heavy aromatics. Babylonians deeply layered their dishes using wild leeks, Leeks, garlic, and onions as the foundational flavor base. Bold herbs and spices. Dishes were heavily seasoned with salt, coriander, cumin, mustard, and thyme. Sweet and savory combinations. Meats were frequently cooked alongside fruits like dates, figs, and pomegranates, or sweetened with wild honey to enhance the rich flavor. Alcohol, royal meals were heavily accompanied by filtered barley beers. So they didn't drink any alcohol, anything. They didn't drink any of this stuff. So, Daniel didn't drink any of this stuff because he was by himself at this time. So he didn't eat any savory food. I took no meat or wine, and I did not anoint myself. This is what he said. He said, I did not anoint myself. He was not fasting. He was seeking answers to his questions. Because remember I said, God said to anoint yourself, anoint your head, and wash your face. So he said, I did not anoint myself at all until the end of 3 weeks. On the 24th day of the first month, I was on the bank of the great river, the Tigris. As I looked up, I saw a man dressed in linen with a belt of fine gold around his waist. His body was like crystallite. We know what crystallite looks like, right? His face shone like lightning. You know how lightning looks when it strikes? His eyes were like fiery torches. You know how fiery torches look, right? His arms and feet looked like burnished bronze, and his voice, burnished bronze. That sounds like a black man. That's a black angel. They were all black. And his voice sounded like the roar of a multitude. I alone, Daniel, saw the vision, but the great fear seized the men who were with me. They fled and hid themselves, although they did not see the vision. They did not see the vision that Daniel was seeing, but they heard the noise. They heard the voice. They heard him. They heard the angel, but they did not see the angel. Daniel is the only one who could see the vision. That's why they said, I alone, Daniel, saw the vision, but great fear seized the men who were with me. They fled and hid themselves, although they did not see the vision, but they heard it. Just like Saul was on the road to Damascus. And Jesus said, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? Remember, Saul was Paul. Saul was the one who was persecuting. Paul is the one that had started to turn people to Yeshua by faith, taking the gospel around. He said, why are you persecuting me? Now, remember, the men that was going with him, with Saul, then heard him, but they did not see him. Okay. No strength remained in me. I turned the color of death and was powerless. He said he turned the color of death. Paler, asher, slightly darker. Black people. When I heard the sound of his voice, I fell face forward in a faint. But then a hand touched me, raising me to my hands and knees. Daniel, beloved, he said to me, Understand the words which I am speaking to you. Stand up, for my mission now is to you. When he said this to me, I stood up trembling. Fear not, Daniel, he continued. From the first day you made up your mind to acquire understanding and humble yourself before God, your prayer was heard. The first day. And he did not fast. Because of it, I started out. But the prince of the king of Persia stood in my way for 21 days, until finally Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me. I left him there with the prince of the kings of Persia, and came to make you understand what shall happen to your people in the days to come, for there is yet a vision concerning those days. He said there is yet a vision. He will get a vision concerning those days. There's another vision concerning those days. Now, mind you, he said he was coming the first day. When Daniel asked, he's a faithful servant of God. He went before God and asked the question. And God sent the angel. But remember, we're inside of time. We have time. We look at time here. We're inside of time. But the Most High, they're outside of time. Heaven is outside of time. One day is 1,000 days in heaven is 1,000 days. And one day in heaven is 1,000 days. Well, one day in heaven is 1,000 days on earth. 1,000 days on earth is one day in heaven. So they're outside of time. Okay, and while he was speaking thus to me, I fell forward and kept silent. Then something like a man's hand touched my lips. I opened my mouth and said to the one facing me, my Lord, I was seized with pain, P-A-I-N, but they call it pains. At the vision, he was seized with pain at the vision, and I was powerless. How can my Lord's servant speak with you, my Lord? For now no strength or even breath is left in me. The one who looked like a man touched me again and strengthened me, saying, fear not, beloved, you are safe. Take courage. And to take courage, he's telling him to take courage. Let me see. And I want to look up the Hebrew meaning of courage. And it says, to seize, to grip tightly, or to refuse to let go. Also, I had in there, it was also to be unattached by fear, or public opinion, or pressure. So take courage and be strong. When he spoke to me, I grew strong and said, speak, my Lord, for you have strengthened me. Do you know, he asked, why I have come to you? Soon I must fight the prince of Persia again. When I leave, the prince of Greece will come, but I shall tell you what is written in the truthful book. So, also, let me tell you what Daniel did eat. All fresh, frozen, dried, or juiced fruits and vegetables. Whole grains like brown rice, oats, barley, and quinoa. Legumes, legumes, including all beans, lentils, and peas. Nuts and seeds with healthy oils like olive oil. Used sparingly. So, this is what Daniel ate. And he told you right in his word, he said, I did not anoint myself. So there is no Daniel fast. You cannot say that there's a Daniel fast when he just told you in the word. Read your word. Read your word. Ask God. He'll give it to you. I did not anoint myself. When y'all say anoint your head, that's what they did back then. They anointed themselves. So the only fast there is a fasting of no food. If you cannot fast without eating anything, my suggestion to you is to start off with an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, or even do 6 hours. Or if you can do 8 hours. Fast. I know some people have health problems. I'm not telling you not to eat. Some people have to eat because of their health problems. But see how long you can go without fasting. Without eating. And I'm going to tell you this. People always say, before you start a fast, go consult your doctor. Well, I'm going to tell you this. Before you start a fast, go consult the Most High God, because He is our physician, our doctor. He's Jehovah Rapha, our healer. Go consult Him first. He will tell you how long to fast. He knows your health record. He knows your body. He knows your history. He knows everything. He knows more than the doctor knows. When you go see a physician at a hospital somewhere, He knows more than them. So go consult Him about fasting. He will give you a number or a few hours. He'll give you the number in your head. Go with a clean heart and ask Him, how long should you fast? Because He knows you. That's what I would do. Now, me, I like to fast 3 days with no food. That would be what I do. You may not be able to do that. So consult the Most High. Some people can do sun up to sundown with no food. But fasting is no food. Or fasting from things that you desire. So that's my take on fasting. Not my take, but the Most High take. But that's what He gave me. So that's the take on what He has on fasting. What was I gonna read? A lot of times we eat all this different type of food that the Leviticus law has said not to eat. And pig is number 1. Swine. And we eat these things because we're here in Babylon, which I know our ancestors, that's what they had to eat. We ate what we had to eat. But once you learn and read your word, do better. Do much better. Do better than me. Now, I can tell you one thing. The people over in our land, the Ashkenazis, who they call the Ish people, that think that they're us, they eat kosher food, which is clean food. So the things that they're eating, we're not eating. Things that we're eating is what they used to eat. And we should be eating things that they're eating. That they're eating kosher food. We should be eating that. They used to eat pigs and all this kind of stuff till they got into our land and start saying they're the Ish people. So remember this: God knows our bodies. Our DNA structure is so different from everybody else's. And that's why He gave us the Leviticus law of foods to eat and not eat. So the only thing I can tell you is take it to the Most High. Take it to Him. Pray. And He will give it to you.